There are some exemptions to the federal to being required to register with the federal do not call register. I don't pretend to know what those exemptions are. You can read that law yourself. Look in the Federal Register or the Code of Federal Regulations, and you can begin to see the law. Some nonprofits are exempt. Some third parties that call in behalf of nonprofits are not exempt. Some of them are. For example, entities that have been granted tax-exempt status under the Internal Revenue Code are not necessarily exempt organizations for the purpose of the Do Not Call Registry. Here's an example. Refer to FTC versus National Consumer Council Incorporated and FTC versus Debt Management Foundation Services Incorporated. In those cases, the FTC successfully challenged the status of a purported nonprofit organization whose role, in fact, was simply to generate leads for other firms, which then charged consumers thousands of dollars in fees for their services. Next, your organization if your organization does not engage in any telemarketing or telephone solicitation activities as defined by the FTC and FCC respectively. All right, now here's what they say with respect to this. Here's an example. Survey calls and political polling calls are not covered by the definition of telemarketing or telephone solicitations. All right, that's point one. Number two, an organization that places only these types of calls might be an exempt organization. Okay? Your organization qualifies for one or more of the specific exemptions contained in the FTC's and FCC's rules, such as you only call to solicit charitable contributions. Number two, you only call consumers with whom you have an established business relationship. Number three, you only call consumers from whom you have received written permission to call. And finally, you only make business-to-business calls. So that point was your organization qualifies for one or more of the exemptions to the DNC if one of those four rules applies. Okay? Next, if you are a for-profit telemarketer, you're not an exempt organization. Third, whether your organization is exempt is a decision that requires an understanding of the FCC's and FTC's requirements, as well as your specific business practices. There's 2 points to that point. Number one, therefore, whether you subscribe as an exempt organization is a decision you must make. And that requires really a legal understanding and appreciation of the law and what status your company really is engaged in when you're making those calls.